Yeah, good day. It's fugitive Australian journalist Shane Delling from the website and YouTube channel Kangaroo Court of Australia. Now, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has sacked his second media director in less than 3 years. So by the time you're listening to that, he's probably appointed his third one in less than 3 years, 8 months out from the federal election. Well, at least 8 months, could be earlier. So it all points to Anthony Albanese being worried about losing in the next election. Now, I don't think he'll lose it, but there's a very good chance he'll end up heading up a minority government relying on the Greens and independents. Well, you never know. Peter Dutton could win. Who knows? But it's worth looking at the fact that he has sacked his second media director. He's blaming his media director for his failings, I think, and he obviously is worried. And that points to social media users and independent journalists doing a good job, holding him accountable. The old media are failing to do that nowadays. So I'll read you out a little bit of the reporting on it. And the SMH has reported Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's media chief, Brett Mason, has resigned, clearing the way for a refresh of the government's messaging ahead of the next federal election. This is the second time Albanese's communications boss has changed in the government's first term of office. Mason's exit comes just 9 months after he took the top job of media director following Liz Fitch's resignation from the role in December, and comes as the government standing in the polls continues to erode. Mason is expected to be replaced by Fiona Sugden, who was former Prime Minister Kevin Rudd's press secretary and is currently working in the Albanese communications team. Now, news have reported in relation to Brett Mason. Anthony Albanese's top communications advisor resigned after just 9 months in the high-stakes role, as Labor looks to finalise its election team and sharpen messaging ahead of the next federal election. The former SBS chief political correspondent stepped up from a senior media advisor role in Mr Albanese's office into the director's role in December, replacing Labor staffer Liz Fitch. At the time, the government failed to pass a referendum on creating a voice to Parliament in October and was taking political hits due to the High Court's ruling, which called for the release of 149 immigration detainees into the community. Now, this is Albo's third media director in less than 3 years, and it very much points to him blaming others for his failings. He's the Prime Minister. It's up to him to set the agenda. It's up to him to ultimately oversee the messaging, and he's blaming others for that. At least that's how I interpret it. Now, they say Brett Mason resigned. Well, the reality is he was sacked. We all know that. You're not going to resign as media director to the Prime Minister 8 months out from an election, because if you win the election, you know, you can write your own ticket to whatever you want to do as a media director. You'll be taking a lot of the credit for the win. And the only reason Anthony Albanese would sack him is because he's worried about losing the next federal election. Now, the image up on the screen now, it shows you how many seats are in the federal parliament. Labor have 78 seats, which means they need 76 to govern of 151 seats. The pass mark is 76 to get to majority government out of 151, and they have 78. From memory, they only had 76 or 77. They only just scraped in, and they're up against Scott Morrison, one of the most despised politicians ever, one of the most despised prime ministers ever. And they just scraped over the line, and that tells you people don't trust Anthony Albanese. They didn't last the last federal election, and a lot less are trusting him now. Let's have a look at some of his tweets and the responses. Now, yesterday, Anthony Albanese tweeted, "We're working together to help Western Australians with the cost of living and build a stronger future for the state. We've rolled out our tax cuts and energy bill relief for every Western Australian." Now, if you have a look at the bottom there, you've got 124 ticks next to the heart. That's how many people like it. But on the left-hand bottom corner, you got the think bubble, which is people commenting. You got 188. When the think bubble number outweighs the heart bubble, the people who like it, you know they're generally copping a hiding. In that relation to that tweet, Anthony Albanese did get a hiding as well. You can go onto Twitter and have a look. Now, the next tweet I'm putting up, which is also from yesterday, "We're training the workers who will build and maintain our AUKUS submarines. The Jobs for Subs program includes over 200 places for the high priority skills we need. Across the country, our AUKUS submarine program is creating around 20,000 highly skilled jobs." Now, once again, down the bottom, you can see the thought bubble, 524 people commented, whereas the heart one, people who liked it, 319. Once again, you know he's getting a hiding. People are very critical of it. I published an article yesterday on on Sunday, the 1st of September, titled "The Labor and Liberal Party Politicians Set to Make Millions from the AUKUS Money Train." The AUKUS scam exposed. So everyone knows that's a big rort. You know, you had JobKeeper that also created thousands of jobs and protected thousands of jobs, but we know that was a big fraud for the millionaires and billionaires to rip off billions from the Australian government. Now, the next tweet is, it is devastating to learn that 6 Israeli hostages have been killed by Hamas. Australians offer our deepest sympathies to their loved ones and all those who grieve their loss. Every innocent life matters. Now, once again, the comment section 1.6K, which is the thousands, and the heart is 1.7 thousand, which is 1,700 likes. And once again, Anthony Albanese and the government are getting a hiding on that issue. There he is commenting on the fact that 6 people died. Well, there's been 40, 50,000, or maybe even 100,000 Palestinians die, and he rarely comments on that. Now, the next tweet from yesterday as well, we're boosting rent assistance by another 10%, Albanese says. Our focus is doing everything we can to help Australians with the cost of living. And if you have a look at the bottom there, you've got 1.3K, 1,300 comments up against the heart. People who like it, 694. And I'll read you out one comment from Eric Bananarama. It says, dump AUKUS, tax our minerals appropriately, get rid of NG and CGT, which is natural gas, apply rent freezes. We have 13.6% of people living in poverty. $10 a week isn't really going to help people whose rent has gone up $100 a week. A government without vision. Now, if you go to Peter Dutton's Twitter feed, he's going to be copying and hiding as well, but that's Peter Dutton. This is the Prime Minister. I was just trying to give you some examples. People are unhappy with the Prime Minister. He sacked his media director. His polling numbers aren't great. The Labor Party and Liberal Party have a lot of their own internal polling. So Anthony Albanese wouldn't have sacked his media director, Brett Mason, based on external polling by the media companies. He would have sacked him based on their own internal polling that shows they're struggling. They need to change their messaging. Messaging isn't getting across, and he knows he's going to struggle at the next federal election. Now, I'll put that graph up again in relation to the Australian Parliament, where you can see 151 MPs. You need 76 MPs to form Parliament in the majority sense. My guess is that the Labor government will lose at least 5 to 10 seats, and that means they're going to be in a minority government. They'll be reliant on the independents and Greens at least. Now, it is possible Labor could lose more, and who knows? Peter Dutton could be our next Prime Minister. We don't know. Now, I have no doubt Anthony Albanese's move to sack his media director because he's worried about losing the next federal election is at least in part because of the social media use and independent media holding him accountable on a lot of the issues that the old media don't hold him accountable. So for all those people out there on social media saying, oh, we can't do nothing, we don't achieve nothing, well, we actually do, I believe. And I think that'll be reflected in the next federal election. But it's certainly been reflected in the last federal election anyhow, with more independents than ever, or at least in recent times it's more independents than ever. So if we keep on applying the pressure, hopefully we'll have a good result at the next federal election for everyone. We need a government that's in minority government, relying on independence because we can't trust the major parties anymore, and we haven't been able to trust them for a long time anyhow. In Kangaroo Court of Australia's independent media, I'm 100% crowdfunded from viewers like yourself, so please support my Patreon account or PayPal account. Currently have 451 patrons, and the target is 600 patrons to become financially viable. So I've got 149 to go. You can donate any amount, $3, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30, $40, $50 a month, whatever suits your budget. It'll help you out in a big way. And the link for the Patreon account and PayPal account will be below this video on YouTube and also on my website. And please share this video on social media, and please hit the like and subscribe button. Other than that, thank you for your time and have a good day.